So, should I just count down?
Yep. Go ahead and count down and start it off.
Alright. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So, Battle Network 3 starts out the school trip to Scilab. And of course, everyone takes the opportunity to tell you things about the game. And then the mandatory tutorial.
Hello.
Sup, Marco? Yeah, we just started. So, first fight is against 2 Medars. Simple enough. I think they even reuse the same chips in the tutorials. The first one's always 2 cannon ones, the second one's always area grab wide sword. Oh. And the third one depends on the game. Here we use shotgun instead of another cannon because it's a faster animation. Now the third one in Battle Network 3 introduces the add mechanic. So it's also present in Battle Network 2. It wasn't present in later games. Which is kind of sad because it's a cool mechanic.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
So here we want to get the first and last Medars to 30 or less HP. So that we can finish them off with 2 shotguns instead of 3 cannons. Again, faster animation. So, tutorial down. Now we're going to hear about a tournament. Tournament in a Battle Network game. Who heard of that before?
Tournaments?
I don't want to talk about tournaments anymore.
Alright, so in the beginning of Battle Network 3, there's an area coming up that you need 140 HP to run from. And the only way to get more HP is by buying HP memories. So, I'm going to be farming GMDs and hoping I can get some good Zenny drops. Unfortunately, when you as soon as you jack in, the next GMD's reward is fixed. You can't do the save and reset trick. Wait, why am I saving here? You can't do the save and reset trick like in Battle Network 2. There is a small manipulation you can do, but it only works between different areas. Because I can take advantage of the fact that whatever I'm about to get is fixed. So that 1000 drop is really nice. This area guarantees any and the green mystery data drops. You can get 100, 300, 1000, and a very small chance at 2000. I need 3000 total. And I am more than halfway there. So this is pretty nice. Let's get the first one here. Just need 900 left. The other thing I'd like to get is either a Shockwave J or a Dash Attack Z chip. These are both pretty powerful chips in the early game. And they both require very little reg memory to set as the regular chip. So I can't actually run from encounters in this area. Ah. That was unfortunate. Well, we've got a small chance at a Shockwave chip. I've got a Guard Star. Oh well.
Yeah, the dash attack and the shockwave are really good in light version because a lot of the fixed fights have viruses that line up in like a straight line, so shockwave and dash attack can hit them. While in blue, they're often spread out, so spreader is much better.
Right. Normally I would jack out here, except that I haven't actually gotten any of the ACDC3 Green Mystery data yet. There are 2 that spawn in each area. And the fact that I haven't seen them yet means that their spawn locations are going to be in the area where I need to go to pick up the item for the quest. So the way this prelim works, there's 3 questions. You need to pick up the O data if the answer is yes, and you need to pick up the X data if the answer is no. So there's the O data, and there's 2 Green Mystery data. So now we've got enough Zenny, which is nice. Unfortunately, we still don't have the chip. And we can't run away from encounters. If I had 2 V-guns, that would have been nice. You can just one-shot them. There's no danger of dying, though. The attacks do 10 damage each. The day I died to one of these fights is the day I quit this game forever. Oh my god. So another thing you've probably seen by now is the way the movement works in the overworld. What you usually want to do is you want to hold a direction as long as possible. Because they're, and you want to hug the walls. And the reason for that is because this game does have turn frames.
Yeah, so like turning your direction makes you pause in place for 1 frame, so trying to minimize the amount of times you turn. Which sounds more difficult than it is.
Unfortunately, if you turn too early, you just end up going backwards and you look like a moron.
Yeah, you cut the corner too close and you just kind of run back.
So I have 140 max HP now, so that means I can run away from encounters in ACDC3. That's why it's really important to get those early HP memories. And we've got one last chance to get the chip here. It'd also be nice to get some extra Zenny, because I'd like to be able to buy the grass stage star chip in this ACDC square for 1,000. That'll be useful on some fights later on. So again, I'm going to save before picking up this green mystery data, because I said that that the thing they give is fixed, but it depends on the area. So because I see a sword Y there, I know that the next green mystery data I'm going to get is going to be either 1,000 or 2,000 in this area.
Oh, nice sword, why?
I can reset to before I picked up that green mystery data in order to know one of the potential values for the index of the next green mystery data I'm going to pick up. If I can get 100 more, then I can also afford to attack plus 10s, which are just nice for the folder flow. Come on, shockwave, dash attack. More Zenny. Oh well. We've got one more chance. I can't fight this. Darn. We have a lot of Zenny though. I guess that's something. So let's get these. 2 attack plus 10s and a grass stage. the task strat is to get the bamboo sword because it one-shots the first boss. But 5,000's a bit much. I don't think I've ever gotten 5,000 in any of my resets. It requires you to get several 2,000 drops from the second area, and those are very unlikely. Alright, double Medar. 50% chance at a shockwave. Nice. Got everything we need now. You can either get the shockwave or the dash attack chip from a Medar fight, or you can get it from a GMD in the third area. So that save I was doing there, if I got a chip that I knew would lead to getting one of the, if I got either a shotgun or a mini bomb, then that would correspond to getting a shockwave or a dash attack in ACDC 3, and I could do the reset trick. But that Medar encounter made it unnecessary. It's pretty nice. So now it's nighttime. Dex left his report in the school. So now we get to sneak in. Also, nothing will possibly go wrong while we're there, right?
Nothing can ever possibly go wrong on the BN game.
And then pick up this copy damage. You'll notice we've just been collecting a lot of starships even though they're not necessarily that powerful because the starting folder has very bad folder flow. So we want to improve that as fast as possible. So quiet. So what happened there is that Flashman's operator, who doesn't have a name in this game, has hypnotized all of your classmates using light. And so now we have to go check on them. They're also probably doing some other bad stuff with that computer, as we'll learn later. They're stealing the Tetra code, which was hidden in the school for some reason. Also, get used to this music. It's going to come back. Oh my god, I forgot the parasol. This is like the classic early game mistake.
Yeah.
But yes, the parasol is necessary. Lan does not understand the concept of closing his eyes. So we need the parasol to block the light. I want to play that cutscene so bad, but gotta go fast. So, in the first comp, the gimmick here is that the lights are tied to the real world. So you need to find the right switch to turn on the lights, and that'll allow you to see the key data that you need to progress. See, it's sort of blinking out. It's only visible after you turn the lights on. Alright, we don't need you anymore. We've got the chip. Each key data in this area unlocks the next one. We're also going to get pretty much every Zenny on the way, because there's some pretty big things we'll need to buy later, in addition to just getting more HP memories. Did I miss? Did I get the rock cube? Can't remember. I think I did. No, we're good. We're good. So, coming up is the first boss of the game. Flashman. The ideal draw is a rock cube, because if you place a rock cube and then use air shot, it does 200 damage, which is almost all of his health. I mean, they probably shouldn't have used both of those air shots, but we won't draw it, probably. The second best thing you can draw is swords. Fortunately, he needs to get in the front row. There we go. I'll finish him off with these. And chapter 1 down. The school has been saved. Sorry, I forgot to save before Flashman.
Just in case you die.
Yep. So it turns out Flashman ended up doing something to Mega Man right before he died. His attack is called Shining Browser Crasher. And it had the effect of corrupting Mega Man. So we need to get to Scilab to fix him. So now we get to fight Gutsman. Very difficult fight. No! He can't actually hit me through the cracked panels. Excellent. So, it's an optional fight. You get a Gutsman chip if you beat him. But he has 700 HP, and none of the chips in our folder are capable of dealing anywhere near that much damage. So since I got the Shockwave, what I'm doing here is I'm picking up some Reg Up 2 Blue Mystery data. That'll allow me to set the Shockwave as my regular chip. You start with 4 regular memory, and Shockwave costs 10 megabytes to reg. So I got 2 in Yai's comp, I got 2 in the vending machine here, and then I'll get the final 2 in Scilab area right before the fights. Shockwave is a very powerful chip on those fights, as we'll see. So I'm gonna do something unusual here. Instead of going directly to the Blue Mystery data that has the reg up memory, I'm going to go to Scilab Square first. And the reason for this is to pick up an HP memory, because I can't run from encounters in this area yet. Unfortunate that I got one. You usually don't. Ratty, please. My health doesn't matter. I get healed to full before the fights. But usually you don't get an encounter. You go to the square, which refreshes your encounter timer, or refreshes the step counter. And then you go back and you pick up the Blue Mystery data. If you get a ton of Zenny early, then you can buy the second HP memory in ACDC2 early, and you don't have to do this backtracking. See, now that I have 200 health, I can just run. Pick up 2 rock cubes as well in the shop for folder flow. Another rock cube. I should have picked that up first. I bought one too many. Let's take out the V-guns, put in these new rock cubes, and we'll set the Shockwave as the regular chip. This is why Shockwave is good. Should have copied image first. Oh my god, I'm bad. Can't believe that happened. It's alright. It's alright. Attack plus 10 or a shotgun is very nice on this one because the boomer has 70 health and Shockwave only does 60. If you get a dash attack instead of a Shockwave, then you don't have that problem because dash attack does 90 instead of 60. Ooh, 1000 Zenny. So at this point I'm going to stop collecting green mystery data in ACDC area and just collect green mystery data only in Scilab and the later areas because they give way more. So we cleared the first round, somewhat embarrassingly. And now we have to go track down the next fight. So this fight is going to be against 3 fishy enemies which have 90 HP. So Shockwave is not going to be enough to finish them on their own. The ideal draw is either Shockwave plus 30, which probably won't happen because that requires 3 attack plus 10s. More likely is though that I can draw a Shotgun. Shotgun J and Shockwave J have the same code. And the Shotgun will let me do the additional 30 damage to finish them off. Nice. You'll notice the Shockwave actually hit 2 of the fishies twice. The reason I'm not collecting the blue mystery data, I guess I should explain how that works. So green mystery data has a random reward, but blue mystery data is always the same. So the reason I'm collecting the green mystery data is because it has a pretty good chance of containing Zenny. But as for the blue mystery data, I'm only going to collect the ones that I know contain Zenny. Yeah, Lucky said it's predetermined. Which is, I guess, a pretty good way of putting it. So some of them will always contain Zenny, others will always contain some chips that I don't want. And so I skip the ones with the chips and I get the ones with the Zenny. There's also purple mystery data, which is like blue mystery data, but it tends to have better rewards. So at this point in the game, Shockwave is a lot less useful. See if we can hit the fishy twice again. Darn. I'll take this. I'm gonna keep the rock cube around. So this hardhead is a really annoying enemy. I fired the shockwave early because I really wanted to hit the hardhead. The hardhead is only vulnerable to attacks when he's red and attacking me. When he's gray, he is invincible to almost any type of chip except for breaking chips. And the only breaking attack we have right now is the rock cube airshot attack. So now our pet is completely broken. That's why we had no chips in that last encounter. It's sad that we got an encounter too. You usually don't get one. Oh well. So now, school trip to the zoo. Now we have to go find the one thing that will cause the story to progress. Which is this random fence back here. Alright, we got our new pet emailed to us. And we now have a Navicust. There's not much on it yet, but we will be making good use of it. I think BN3 is the first game to introduce the Navicust. Why white over blue?
I think at this point, like, what game you run is just personal preference, because like each game has their own suited points to it.
Yeah. The main differences between the games is that you fight different encounters, and the chips in the shops are different. So blue version gives you early bubblers, which are pretty strong. White version gives you it gives you full cust later on. Unfortunately, white version also has scary Pengy fights, but they give you grass stage to deal with it. And I think the biggest reason to prefer white over blue is that you can buy Yo-Yo 1G in a shop, which you can't do in blue version. And that's one of the chips that's necessary to progress the story. So it's more consistent. Or at least it was more consistent until Enmarco figured out Manip. I will be doing Windstar. Just because getting that chip is really bad.
I don't remember. Is there any other manips for any percent?
I think there's the Ice Ball M1, and there's a lot of boss manips, but I don't do this. The downside with doing Manip in Battle Network 3 is that it requires a hard reset. One of the RNG counters resets on a soft reset only, but the other one only resets on a hard reset. And it's that hard reset counter that determines what chips you draw. So in the zoo comps, the gimmick is that there are viruses that block your way, and you must find the corresponding program to counter it. So the first virus we found was a mouse virus, so you have to find the cat program. A rabbit virus is lonely, so we take the rabbit program, and it makes them explode. Again, collecting more Zenny from the blue mystery data. And 220 health is enough to run from encounters. This game does have sneak run, but the amount of HP you need to sneak run is much higher than the amount of HP you need to run away. And so it's not possible for us to collect enough HP memory to sneak run all of the encounters yet. So pick up another copy damage for folder flow. Copy damage is just also a really good chip. It's not as good as it is in 6 though. It doesn't last as long. Yeah, we do get to sneak. We do get to sneak run ACDC. The very nice thing about Battle Network 3 is that you get the sneak run program. So you don't have to buy sneak run sub chips from the shops at all. Did I disconnect from Discord?
No, you're still here.
Alright,
Yeah.
just quiet. Whenever I hear that sound, it scares me.
You think it was Jess who left?
I think so.
Alright, this
Because
is
Marco
the...
left a long time ago already.
Right. So this is the fourth and final area in these comps. After this, we will fight Beastman, who was the one behind this hijacking all the animals. The Beastman fight is also the last one before we get a really OP folder. It's also a pretty difficult fight because he has a lot of health and he moves very quickly. This fight is another reason why we bought all of the rock cubes from the Scilab shop. Again, that's a white exclusive. They don't sell those in blue. So what I'm going to do before this fight is I'm going to reg Rock Cube. I have 4 Rock Cubes and 3 air shots, but Rock Cube air shot just does so much damage. So he moves around, but when he attacks, he always returns to where he attacked from. So I'm going to be taking advantage of that. There's an air shot. When he moves around, he'll also never move to your row. So that's because he moves so quickly, he's very difficult to predict until he attacks. That fight actually went really well. Got 2 rock cubes off and a longsword, which is all of his health. Check that pet for RNG manipulation. So, we've seen it in BN6, we've seen it in Star Force 1. But we have unlocked the ability to enter codes in the number trader. Everyone's favorite part of the run.
And man, who doesn't like free stuff that make you ridiculously OP?
Here is the most powerful chip in the game. Or at least most powerful standard chip that we'll be using. Var sword.
Spray broken.
Especially Alum
That's-
Slash.
We'll also be getting the elemental mega chips. They have big numbers on them, but the downside is that you can only use the elemental chip if you have the same style. So you can only use, say, Bolt if you're Elec style. So that plays a pretty big part in balancing out the different elemental styles, because the wood and Elec chips are much better than the other chips.
I guess another upside is that you could use them for the Master Style PA that does like 900 damage.
Yeah, we'll be using that PA once. The downside of that PA is that it requires you to get all 4 mega chips, and you can only have 1 copy of each, so it takes a while to set up. Now, here goes. Now we have to farm a Windstar chip. I think I got it. 2, 3, 4. Email 9. Open the Navicust. And bug sneak run. So what I've done, I've gotten to a very specific point in the comp. And that sets my step counter to a certain value. So if I did it right, just get a win box encounter right here. I shoot 6 times to advance the RNG 6 times, and that'll help set the drop to Windstar. And there. Thank you and Markro for that setup. Without that setup, getting that chip would take like anywhere from like 10 to 20 encounters. It is by far the worst run killer in Battle Network 3. So we no longer need these. Alright. And we'll set up a different bug. So I've bugged these attacking chips 3 times. One by putting the chip in the command line that's not supposed to go there, and 2 more for having the 2 chips touch adjacent to each other. What that does is it sets my normal Buster Shot to be a 40 damage guard, which is incredibly overpowered. It's useful on that fight if I don't draw any chips, because most of the chips in my folder are star code chips that don't do very much damage. But Step Cross in that fight just is a one-shot. It's the best possible draw, it's what the task uses. So the fact that I drew it there is very good. Yeah, that will be the only manip in the run. And I guess the way they find it is trial and error. Oh, I get a free GMD. What do we got? Panel grab. Well, it's a star code. It's good if I get wood style. The benefit of wood style is that you get to use the Gaia Blade chip, and your Buster Shot actually does a lot of damage.
And it's really good against Alpha.
It is really good against Alpha, but the downside is that both the Gaia Blade chip and the Wood Buster can only hit up to 2 squares, which means you can't hit enemies on the back row. So Panel Grab is really useful for mitigating that weakness, because it'll let you reach the back row. Star code too, which is nice. No reason to put it in yet.
Calling it now, you're gonna get heat style.
Heat style's terrifying.
But your Buster's so good, Kappa.
Only good with Bug. Heat Bug is OP. But usually in Battle Network 3 you get custom style. You have to go out of your way if you want Bug. Alright, so we just got this OP folder. Unfortunately for this prelim, we have to do 5 battles in the real world with a forced folder. So this is where the Guard Buster is going to be really good. Let's get these. It gives us consistency that we wouldn't have otherwise. There's no attack plus 10 to go with this Redder. What I like to do on this fight... Oh my god. I like to fire off a shockwave from the guard, and then use the chips to finish off whatever's left. The reason I didn't set up the Guard Buster in the earlier Navica set is because I actually need to fire my Buster to manipulate the RNG. So that's why I didn't set it until now. So the bottleneck in this fight is the wind box in the back. Guard chips are also completely useless. So my Buster does the same thing. Just gonna wait till he attacks, because those enemies try to move out of your row. So you wait. The easiest way to hit them is to wait until they attack, because they can't move then. If the wind box is by itself, there's nothing to use the Guard Buster on, so you're forced to kill it with chips. So that's why I prefer to kill it first. This fight is a little scary because it has a spiky 3 really early in the game. It has a lot of health and it does a lot of damage. Let's just send a rat on that end. That fight went pretty well. They lined up. I like when they do that. So you'll notice what I'm doing here is I'm buying the passes in advance. Normally what you do is you buy the pass to get to the next area when you need to go there. But the movement is slightly faster if you buy them in advance. You just have to know where you're going in advance. Oh, it lands. So those are the 5 fights here. So go back to Yoka's square, and then there will be 3 more fights. The last 3 fights are actually kind of difficult because you don't fight it on a normal field. There's going to be a hole in the middle, and that makes using the guard buster more difficult because the shockwave cannot go over holes. These fights aren't that bad though. It can get annoying if the enemies feel like hiding. With ratties, you really don't want to take them below half health because then they start moving really fast. This is a good draw. Ah, bad timing. And then this third fight is the trickiest one because of the boomer. I'm going to focus down the boomer first, even though it's the weakest of the enemies, because it's the hardest to dodge on this field. I need to focus on the spiky. Oh dear. Well, we're gonna play this one safe. I was too focused on the boomer and I didn't notice the spiky lining up his attacks right afterwards. The shrimpy enemies are also annoying in this game because their movement is completely random. Or their movement's not random, but when they attack is. So they're difficult to predict. And because that one's in the front row, you don't have as much time to react. But that went well. So now Higsby wants a Windstar chip. And we conveniently have one. It's also like we've played this before. So the story here is that Mail ordered a washing machine. And unfortunately the washing machine is booby trapped. And so now they are trapped in exploding indestructible bubbles. Until we defeat Bubbleman. So we have to go track him down. Oh, I don't have a pass. That's the downside of buying passes. Sometimes you forget you didn't buy one. So it's faster to get to Bubbleman from Scilab than to run all the way through ACDC. There's also a chance we get a GMD. Sad. That one over there is too far out of the way. Oh my god. Please no encounter, please no encounter. Yes. So now we need to go chase down Bubbleman. Follow the trail of bubbles. I should equip this, though it doesn't really matter yet. In a later scenario, we're going to need a lot of water chips. Oh, GMD on the way. That's nice. The GMDs in this area give the best Zenny for pretty much most of the game. You're guaranteed at least 1,000. And you can get as much as 3,500, which is pretty nice. Alright, so copy damage is actually a pretty good chip. None of these others are, though. And because the hardheads use breaking attacks, I can't use the guard buster. Let's see, let's do this. And then take some other things. Ah, too late. Yes, I get guard buster and a charge shot. It's a pretty good bug. So, from the Navi there, I got the press data. What blocked me from getting to Bubbleman was a path that was too small, so I need to find a way to compress Mega Man in order to reach Bubbleman. So I conveniently find Dr. Casa, who can turn the press data into a Navicus program for Mega Man. And now the plot can progress. I think Fire and Elec are the most common. I don't know if it was supposed to be that way, but that's just how it is. So let's equip the press data. I guess we don't need this bug anymore. This attack +1 is worse than the weapon level +1, and we'll want this charge. So the style change is coming up. And once you change styles, the normal buster is much weaker than using the charge shot. Wonder what we're gonna get. Probably wood. It's always wood. Let's do the save trick. Ooh, that's a good one. Here I'm going to check the top area because there are 3 GMD spawn locations up here. I'm glad I did. Very glad I did.
Nice. It's a very good amount of Zenny.
Let's see if we can get a water chip too. Nope, just another Windstar. 50% chance to get a water chip there. But in white version, because you can't buy bubblers, you need to farm a couple water chips from virus fights. Well, you don't need to. You can buy all of them, it's just really expensive. So you either have to farm water chips or farm Zenny. And farming water chips is way more fun. Usually you can get anything you need on the way. Yeah. What I did in that fight with the Var Sword is try slash. So the normal way of using Var Sword, if you don't know how to use it, is it'll just be a 160 damage sword. But you can hold A and input codes, which will do more powerful attacks. So that attack I did is 3 slashes of 160 damage each in a single chip. It is pretty overpowered, and that's not even the most powerful attack you can do. So this fight is why I have Grass Stage set as my reg chip, although I don't actually need it. Because these Pengy viruses become invincible when they're on an ice panel. Alright, here we go. What do we get?
Calling it heat style.
It is heat
Calling it.
style.
Oh,
Oh, no. Oh man. Let's get the HP memory
Oh my
here.
god, I'm actually right about something.
2 heat shots that
It's
we'll
not
need
too
later.
bad. It's still cut style, so it isn't as bad, I guess.
Heat bug is better. Heat is like
For
the
heat
only
style,
style
yeah.
that's better at bug than in custom. So heat style turns my charge shot into a flamethrower. And heat style also allows me to use the salamander chip, which doesn't do very much. And the custom style part of it, you get an element and you get, let's get this, why not? Yes, 2000, it's great. But yeah, the custom style part gives me an additional chip, so instead of starting with 5 chips, I now start with 6. The downside of heat style, though, is that there are a lot of very powerful water viruses that do double damage. These Pengies, for example, do double damage. Let's do this. So I use Grass Stage to remove the ice panels that give them invulnerability. What am I doing? Their attacks are easy to dodge. The nice thing about white version, though, is that if you have heat style, you can set Grass Stage as your regular chip. And if you hit an enemy on a grass panel with a fire type attack, it does double damage, even if they're not weak to fire. If they are weak to fire, it does quadruple damage. So it adds a little bit of consistency. Unfortunately, I only have 1 charge plus 1 in my Navicust, so it takes a really long time to charge. That's one reason why Bug Style is nice with Heat Style. Because Bug Style has a bug that can occasionally give you Buster Max, which maxes out your charge. But we don't have that. Oh well. Check the top area again. See if we can get more. There's one. We're going to be passing by all of the spawn locations in this area. So by checking the top, it just makes it more consistent. I only try to fight the water viruses if I have a way to defeat them in the first turn. And there's the second one. Get anywhere from 1,000 to 3,500. I'm hoping for 3,500. Oh well, that's fine. Not great, but not awful. And then there's gonna be one more Pengy fight. This Grass Stage wasn't really necessary for the first 2. It's kinda nice, but you don't need it. This fight here is why we go out of our way for grass stage. It is very important. Without it, we would be unable to hurt these on an ice panel, and nearly every panel is ice. So let's get rid of those. Defeating them allows us to get past the bubble. It's another nearly indestructible bubble. Aw. These double shrimpy fights are like the best fights you can get for getting water chips. But unfortunately I don't have any chips that can defeat them. I could defeat them with the buster, that would just take too long. This folder has a lot of filler chips that they're star code, so they get out of your way quickly, but they don't do damage. Right. Bubbleman. I'm saving because I'm heat style. And heat style
This fight
takes double damage.
It really is. Bubbleman goes from a joke to a complete and total scare.
Yeah. So let's hit him with that for now. Yeah, so if you take Bubbleman below a quarter health, he changes his attack pattern, and he gains a bubble shield, which makes him a lot harder to hit. He also never leaves the back row, so he can be a pretty frustrating boss if you're not prepared for him. That fight went really well. So Bubbleman down. Just one last prelim. To read this to get the mail code. So now we get to see which of our friends are available. We have a lot of Zenny now. This is one of the key points in the run where you need a lot of Zenny, because we're going to need to spend 10,000 of it in order to buy a fish and a charge +1 in Beach Square. The fish will allow us to get the Ice Ball M chip, which we need to progress the story later on. And we need to get the Navicoast part now. We won't be coming back to Beach Square for quite a while. But thankfully, we got to go through Yoka first, and got to get those nice juicy 3,500 Zenny GMDs. This run is pretty fun. So Dex isn't at his homepage. We need to go track him down. water chip. Man, what are these draws? There's nothing here. Unfortunately, he's at the beginning of the area, so we don't get to farm GMGs, but can farm GMGs if you're really low. We don't need to do that here because we have a ton. I think we've got like 4k, 5k extra right now. This is great. I probably could fight this, but because of the Medar, there's only a 2/3 chance that I'd get the drop. It's sad that I haven't gotten a single water chip so far, though. So this is beach area. As I said before, in white version you can buy the Yo-Yo 1G chip. But you can also encounter the Yo-Yo viruses in this area. And if I can find one and get the chip, that means that I won't have to buy it, and that'll save me 4k Zenny later on, which I can then spend for towards more of our swords. More of our swords is amazing. Oh, this is a great encounter, and this is a great chip. So the reason I'm not using the hero sword immediately is because if I S rank, I won't get the chip. So I need to wait a little bit of time, get the 9 rank instead, and Yo-Yo 1G. That was really good. That drop I picked up from the Green Mystery Data, Guts Radar, is also a really good chip. I will be putting that in the folder. It's a nice bonus. Rip all of our Zenny. Fish is so expensive. It's alright though. It's alright. So now we need to get to the next area for our interview. And then, oh look, something went wrong. 3 more battles. Alright, I'm gonna save here because I know one of these fights has a Swordy 3 in it. And because I'm heat style, Swordy 3 does double damage. Step Cross is an amazing draw. So the way Step Cross works, I take 2 steps forward, and then I attack in an X pattern. The enemies in the corners of the X take 130 damage, but the one in the center takes 260 because it gets hit by both lines of the X. And as it turns out, a lot of enemies start in diagonal patterns, so that's why Step Cross is pretty strong. Yeah, Shrimpy viruses too. All of the viruses are super effective against Heat Style. Heat Style is probably the most dangerous one to use because of that. Ow. I meant to get a hit off, oh well. We're gonna play this one safe. You normally don't want to allow the area lock. Yeah, this fight is the scariest one for Heat Style if you don't have a good draw in the opening. Let's see, I can get him there. Step Cross also has a much longer range than Step Sword. It is a really strong chip. and it is one of the main ones that's used in the tasks. So we're going to pick up a job here. This job is not necessary for this story, but we do it because it gives us a lot of Zenny as a reward. It's also a pretty quick job too. You just have to do one fight, and then you get 10,000 Zenny. Which is good because we're going to be spending a lot of it for mod tools soon. I'm going to be saving before this fight too. Because these viruses have the gimmick, you have to delete them both at the same time. If you delete only one of them, they will completely restore their health. Oh, that was close. So there's a small chance I screw up all the chips. And then fail to get the double delete because I can't do it with my Buster alone. But we got it. Bar Sword is a good chip. So now that we finally passed all the tournament prelims, we can now join the real tournament. Talk to this guy. So mod tools is a pretty strange thing, but it turns out it's also really overpowered. What it lets you do is in your Navicust, you gain the ability to put in a code. And that code can have like one of several different effects. So the codes we'll be using in the run are fast gauge, and later on we'll be getting an HP plus 1000. The downside for each of these codes, though, is that the more powerful codes have side effects. So there's fish. Put in the charge plus ones. So now we have charge rank 4. Wait, what am I doing? Yeah, this is correct. So this is the fast gauge code. It gives me fast gauge, but at a cost. -2. I have -2 chips, so I only get 4 chips instead of the 6 I used to get. If I didn't have custom style, I would have 3 chips instead of the 5. It's still worth putting the fast gauge code in, even though you get fewer chips, because it halves the time it takes for the custom gauge to fill. So, because I equipped fish, it's more likely that I can encounter the cold head viruses in this area. I'm saving because the cold head viruses do double damage to me because I'm heat style. This is a pretty ongoing trend with heat style. Everything hurts. Come on. Where is the cold head? Come out, come out. Oh well, we'll get it later. So heat style is really nice on this fight because the whole stage is grass panels. Let's take this. And Heat Buster does fire attacks do double damage on grass panels. So at this part of the run, there are some NPCs that give you folders, and you get to choose which extra folder for the next battle. They give you 3 minutes to choose though, and it doesn't take us anywhere near 3 minutes to get the folder we want. And there's no way to progress until the timer runs out. So I'm going to take the opportunity and try to pick up an Ice Ball M chip here. There's the cold head viruses. Nice. So nice. Cold heads are like hard heads in that you can only attack them when they're about to attack. But Cannonball is a breaking chip, so that means I don't have to wait. That's the reason why I pick up the new extra folder before I do the cold head fight, because the extra folder has multiple cannonballs. It has more cannonballs than the initial folder. So now we get to wait out the rest of the 2 minutes. The normal strategy is to see how close you can get to the door before. The thing is, if you get too close to the door, you trigger this little cutscene. The door is shut tightly, and then it sends you back. You can't just walk as far all the way. But the closer you get, the more frames you save. Very important. I guess you can walk around a little. Yeah, they didn't think this one through. Yeah, so the what's up with the 4 doors is that you always fight Metal Man for your first fight, but depending on which door you enter, you'll get a different terrain. So you can get ice terrain, you can get metal terrain. I forget what the last one is. I doubt they'd give you lava terrain. But we pick grass because it lets us, there's a bunch of fire chips in the folder and it lets us do double damage. It also doesn't impede our movement. Oh, it's desert. Desert's the last one. Do the quiz. I'm not sure, but I think there might be, you might lose a couple frames every time you go between areas because the timer might not be counting down. So it's optimal for me to just stay here. Also, if I get the quiz right, that'll give me a new extra folder, and I'd have to go get this one again. The quiz extra folder is the best one for this fight if you use Benip, because you can manipulate the Var Sword. But there's only one Var Sword in the folder, and it's not that consistent to draw it. The folder we're using has a bunch of snakes in it, which are very good against Gutsman, because he'll crack the stage for us. Double snake, yes! So on, crack the stage. Crack the stage. Oh shit. I was on the wrong square. So we only get to get a 7 snake instead of an 8. But that's okay. That's okay. cannonball should finish him off regardless. Or third snake. That works. Easy game. The way snake works is that it does 40 damage per hole on your side of the field. And it also doesn't give bosses invulnerability frames. So you can just chain them really easily. The folder only has 3 snakes in it though, so sometimes it's a pain drawing them. We got pretty lucky there. To see all 3. The folder also has a bunch of cannonballs in it too, which is just a 160 damage chip. So it's not that bad if you don't draw them immediately. You can wear him down a bit. I'm sorry, no more snake folder. We can equip our normal folder now. The next fight coming up is Kingman, which is pretty annoying except for the fact that we have the Master Style PA. Kingman is really annoying because he stays in the back row and his pawns are capable of blocking attacks. You see how, like, if I buster them, it doesn't do any damage to them. Only breaking chips can destroy them. So what I'm going to do instead is set up the Master Style PA. This is the only time I will be using this PA, but it is a very strong one. It attacks 9 times for 100 damage each. The chips are pretty much useless on their own though. And it takes a while to draw the PA, but for a while it used to be a backup strat in case you're having trouble with a boss. The reason I saved is because that fight is really difficult to do without Master Style. And if I accidentally add one of the Master Style components, then I'm in trouble. But we got it. Everything's fine. The reason I stayed in the front row for the pawn attacks is to stop him from using Plan B. I should probably do this. These are not bad chips. Goodbye, desert. Hello, grass. Unfortunately, I can use Salamander, but it just doesn't do anything. Alright, so I'm going to try to set up the Var Sword. The reason I went through all that trouble is because as you saw, Desert Man goes underground every time he gets hit. And so if I just attacked with Var Sword immediately, he would just go underground as soon as one of the slashes hits him and I wouldn't be able to get the others. But because the Var Sword code I used is Elemental Slash, which fires 4 slashes, each one has a different element. And if Desert Man gets hit by a water elemental attack, he gets locked into place, and so that allows me to get the 2 follow-up slashes on him. So what I did is I set it up so that the first slash hit the Desert Man's hand, the second slash, which is the water slash, hits Desert Man, locks him into place, and then I can finish him off with the 3rd and 4th slashes. Alright, let's do the chip trader, see if we can get something good. This is always fun. Fire Sword. Not great. Aw, nothing special. There's a small chance you get a Var Sword from that. It's amazing when you do. Also rob the hospital, take all their money. We need it more anyway. The Fire Sword is actually not normally that bad. I guess it'll save us from having to buy a heat chip, but it's not that great of a chip on its own because of the short range. The R code isn't great either. We don't have any other R code chips in the folder right now. Extra fire chips don't really help nearly as much as water chips. You only need 4 fire chips, but you need 10 water. Let's see, Silent next. So it turns out Tora's here. And he somehow got us to help him out. So what we need to do now is we need to do 4 jobs for Tora. These are mandatory. And this is where we need the Yo-Yo 1G. Luckily we have the Yo-Yo 1G chip already, so we don't have to buy it. So in this one, we need to go track down this guy's Navi. It's kind of convenient that he's in Yoka area though. It means we get another chance to get some juicy Zenny GMDs. Sorry if I didn't say this earlier, but GMD stands for Green Mystery Data. The green octahedrons lying around. While I'm here, I should pick up this HP memory. And that's where you'd buy Yo-Yo 1G. There's also an area grab star, which is really nice if you're wood style, because it lets you hit the back row. Wood style's biggest downside is its range. Use the untrap. Can't really pass these up if they're here. Oh, found one. And the other one's over there. Aw, it's only 1,000. To be fair, we're doing pretty well on Zenny. I'm not worried. Although the water chip situation is a bit awkward. Man, double 1000s. That's unfortunate. The lowest possible. We're out of untraps, gotta get more. Oh my god, so much Zenny. We're gonna be spending a lot of it soon though. The reason I do job 4 first is because that's the job that takes you to Yoka area, where you can buy the Yo-Yo 1G ship. We had it already, but that's why we do them in this order. We do job 1 next because it takes us near Higsby's shop. This lets us do chip order. We don't need to buy the heat shop because we got the fire sword, but this allows us to buy a second var sword. Very expensive, but totally worth it. Gut straight is also a good chip. I would buy a second step cross if I could, but that chip is way more expensive. Gut straight costing 2400 for how powerful it is really, really nice. By the end of the game, this is basically just going to be a var sword and filler folder. Var sword just does so much more damage to bosses than everything else. It's also easier to hit too because the slashes take up 3 rows. The combo's a little tricky to input though. Anti-damage is not bad. But anti-damage, I think anti-damage is only available in blue version. It's somewhat expensive too. I think it's like a viable endgame strat to buy it and put it in the folder. But I don't think we can get it in white. Yeah, we will be using Muramasa. Muramasa is the other endgame chip. Because of the the mod tools we got earlier has a code that allows us to gain 1000 HP. And Muramasa does damage equal to your max HP minus your current HP. So if you take 1000 damage, Muramasa will do 999 damage. Which is more than even Varsword, actually. The downside is that it takes a while to take all the damage. So it takes a while to get Muramasa set up to do its max. We will not be using anti-damage in white version because I don't think they sell it in Scilab Square. I think that blue mystery data is something like grab back A, which just isn't really useful in a speedrun. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's not that great of a chip. And everyone must be so curious though. Yeah, Muramasa caps at 999. Wait, this is the next job? Whoops. We'll do that later. Maybe I should throw in a folder edit here. Alright, so those were the 2 non-combat jobs. We did those first so we could get the good chips from the chip order and put them in before we start these fights. These are the more fun jobs. So we no longer need these. And what do we got? Got a gut straight, got a var sword, got another gut straight. I guess invis. I'll keep that as the reg for now. So these 3 fights have the 2B viruses in the back. So we've seen the Trumpy viruses before. When they're active, they give all of the other viruses invincibility. When these 2B viruses are active, they inflict you with the confusion status. And in this game, in later games, the confusion status reverses your controls, but in this one, it makes your controls completely random. So you can't control where you're going at all. So because of that, oh, it's the next fight, but I'm gonna play this really safe. Wow. Varsword draws are very good. I only have three chances to get Varsword because my reg is grass stage. So the fact that I've drawn it twice is really nice. Pick up this HP memory, and there's one more Navi I have to defeat. This is the Navi I need to save before. It's generally not that hard of a fight, but I actually died here in one of my practice runs. Because Heat Style, combined with the 2B keeping me locked in the front row, and a Swordy 3 that can 2-shot me. It looks like that won't matter though, because we drew Varsword. Varsword's a good chip. Varsword is a very good chip. I guess we won't get to see what the 2B does. Just draw a Varsword every fight. Easy game. Alright, one job left. This is a quick one. Hit the 3 and I guess it's like 2 times. It's 6 out of 29 because I got 2 Varswords. 3 slots, 2 Varswords over 29 chances. Yeah, we just casually hit a 20% chance 3 times in a row. Ooh, GMT on the way. What do we got? No, it's only 100 zennies. Oh man. I need more. I think you can get up to 3,000 in this area. Only getting 100 is sad. Is there one here? Oh well. No, I want this one. Oh, to be fair, the first fight you don't really need chips. The Buster will one-shot it. But using the Varsword is faster. Let's try this, see if I can do this. Nice. If an enemy moves into a rock cube, then that pretty much does the same thing as if you did rock cube air shot. And so they take the full 200 damage. It got interrupted. Just add. Try to find a good chip. Varsword and backup Varsword. Oh, I screwed up the Varsword code. That's unfortunate. It's not an easy code to do. I was too late. fine. We got our Heat Buster, we got our Grass Stage for double damage. That's all we need. That's all we need. That's the downside with the Heat Buster is that you're locked in place when you're firing it. So you tend to take a lot of damage. I think Gut Straight is actually the easier one. At least I find it easier. Oh wait, later. That comes later. The fact that I'm Heat Style is the only reason that I still have Grass Stage regged. It's a nice little boost you get in White version if you get Heat Style. So otherwise Heat Style is generally weaker. So, in stories so far, Dex didn't show up to class, and it turns out that Dex has moved to Netopia. Which is very sad for us, because we can no longer use his computer to take the shortcut to ACDC Square. God, elevator please. There's also some very nice sad music there, which we don't get to listen to because we skip. Instead, you get to hear the Crisis music again. So give Mamoru Ice Ball M. Yeah, this is the Plantman scenario. This is this is where Heat Style shines. There are two fights coming up before Plantman, and both of them Heat is incredibly OP. The Heat Buster will one-shot both of these viruses. So the story at this point is that Mamoru has gotten sicker, but by getting him the Ice Ball M chip, we have inspired him to decide to undergo this experimental surgery procedure. Unfortunately for Mamoru, we're in the hospital during the procedure, which means something is going to go wrong. I think I've got enough fire chips to handle this. The energy change program allows me to burn down the trees. Oh wait, I should put the Navicus code in. Keep my fast gauge. I think it's still worth it. So I need 4 fire chips, and I have 4 thanks to that fire sword. Getting that fire sword saved me from having to buy a fire chip from Higsby, so that was nice. Chat's probably like, why aren't you using it? It's such a powerful chip. So these viney enemies, you can only attack their main body with fire attacks. Otherwise you have to wait for them to attack, and then you can damage them by hitting their vines. So the rock cube air shot would not kill them because I think they have like a special kind of defense. Like breaking chips don't hurt them, only fire does. So that's why heat style is amazing here. And more crisis music. Goodbye, fire sword. I'll need these water chips later, and I'll need pollen. You can have these. You don't need these 2 anymore. Put in the gut straight, put in the pawn. Man, if you thought burning fire sword was bad. $300 damage mega chip, one of a kind. Goodbye. So the heat bust charge shot does 80 damage. The grass sage doubles that to 160, and the fact that that's a wood virus doubles that again to 320, which is enough to one shot. It's alright. We lost Salamander, but we got a heat shot chip instead. It's almost as good, right? And go out of our way a bit here. Pick up a few extra fire chips. You can probably tell already, but the gimmick in this place is that there are vines on the ground that hide switches and other rewards, and trees that block your way. And in order to get rid of them, you have to use up a fire chip. So there's a door blocking the way, and I have to find the one vine out of all of these that has the switch. That allows me to get through the door. This place was really annoying casually, I remember. So you don't want to use up any of the fire chips that are like rare or powerful. So you just have to save, and you have to just like keep trying vine after vine until you find the one you're looking for. Got a nice supply of fire chips now, though. Yeah, the progs do give you hints, but they're not actually that useful of hints. And the progs don't give you hints for the other vines, because there are some vines that have stuff other than switches under them. Like there's one vine that has a warp to an HP memory. So if you want to get all the stuff in the game, you gotta try every single vine. Turns out it's that one. The thing I like about BN2 scenarios is the music. BN2 has pretty good music. I think it's like somewhat lacking in BN3. So I think the hospital is one of the slightly better ones, sad to say. Yeah, to be fair, a lot of scenarios are not so great the first time. Alright, time for the hardest boss in the game. Wait, I guess second hardest. Flashman should be the hardest. I've actually been having a lot more trouble on Plantman recently than I should be. Because he keeps interrupting my VAR swords. I hope he doesn't do that this time. Let's see how this goes. Boss number 5, Plantman. Set grass stage for my buster. Oh, he was over there. Let's get hit by this. I don't want that to interrupt my VAR sword. It's a pretty common strat you'll see, especially in the later chapters. Purposefully getting hit in order to get invincibility frames, so that the VAR sword can't be interrupted. The nice thing about VAR sword is that the first slash is heat. The first slash, which is heat style, the first slash, which is a fire slash, does double damage to Plantman, who's weak to it. So VAR sword normally does 800 damage to him. If you use grass stage though, that first slash, which would normally do 320, is doubled again. So that does 1020 damage to Plantman and kills him. Yeah, the code I'm using for VAR sword is called Elemental Slash. It does 4 slashes, each one is a different element of 160 damage each. 160 elemental damage each. It's pretty much the main reason we use VAR sword in the speedrun, because if you use the normal tri-slash, bosses get invincibility frames after each slash. But Elemental Slash, only the final slash gives invincibility frames to the bosses, so they get hit by all 4. Alright, I don't think this save will be necessary, but dying in this game is really brutal because it sends you back to your last save. doesn't like send you back to your last Pokemon Center. So I'm gonna wait for the Hardhead to become active. Ow, I shouldn't have waited. I shouldn't have waited. Let's just kill this guy. Finish him off with Step Cross. Hardheads are annoying enemies because they block Var Swords until they try to attack you. And then once they try to attack you, they interrupt your Var Sword. So they're a real pain. Var Sword would be amazing here, thank you. Just play it safe. I need to use Elemental Slash on this one because I need all 4 slashes. Tri-Slash only does 3 slashes. And Elemental Slash is a slightly harder code to input. So, the story here is that Mr. Match, who used to be, but says he's not in World 3 anymore. Mr. Match has said that World 3 Navis are doing evil things, you should go stop them. He totally didn't plant them there. Oh, 3,000, yes, that felt good. Now we gotta go track him down. Which means more backtracking. It's alright though, these fights are pretty fun. You can see that the viruses are getting a lot stronger at this part of the game. In the last chapter we were fighting like Med-R2s, but now we've got these level 3 wind boxes that have 300 health. Storm boxes. Take the hit. Oh, right. I should have mentioned this earlier, but I got a program for the Navicus called Sneakrun, and what that lets me do is that if my HP is high enough, I can dodge encounters completely. I just don't get encounters. So there's like 1 HP threshold you need to run away, and then there's a second threshold you need to not get encounters at all. And so right now I've reached that second threshold. The reason I only have 4 chips instead of 6 is because I put a mod tools code in, which gives me fast gauge at the cost of 2 of my chips. So those War Swords were pretty nice. One more fight. Unfortunately, the speedrun will not go to Serenade. I think one of the prerequisites is getting all of the standard chips.
I also need a Giga chip to get there.
Oh, you also need... Yeah, you're right. Getting the Giga chip requires a lot of bug frags, right? Is that the only one we have access to?
You need 200 bug frags to get a free one, basically, from the Undernet.
Yeah, so that's
I
very
don't know
expensive.
if you get any other Giga chips in the game yet. I haven't done 100% in a while.
I guess the grass stage wasn't necessary there. I wanted to make the Fire Slash do double damage. What do we get? I'll take every little bit of Zenny I can get because I haven't gotten a single water chip from encounters. And so the trade-off here is that for each water chip you don't get from an encounter, you need to pay 1,500 Zennies for. And so it's going to be a huge drain. Unless I can find a few. Of course, with encounters disabled now because of sneak run, I'm only going to have a few mandatory ones that I have a chance to get a water chip from. So hopefully I get some good luck there. Won't have to buy as many. It'd be nice, but just in case, my Zenny count is at a pretty good state right now. So Mr. Match wants us to help him by planting some fire programs in Scilab. But it's okay. What could possibly go wrong? Ooh. Aw. For the most part, I don't really want chips from these green mystery data anymore. What I'm most interested in is Zenny. That's 2 down, 1 to go. And for our reward, we get a Lava Stage She chip. Yay, we're helpful. Oops, accidentally burnt down Scilab.
It's fine, they'll just put it on your tab.
2 Scilabs to go, please. So now there are fires all over the internet. We have to go put them out. This is why we need the water chips, because to burn down the trees in the last chapter, it consumed a fire chip every time we used it. Now for each fire we need to consume a water chip. I don't need to do that. I'll just sort them here. We're a bit low on water chips. The way this works is that there are 3 fires per area. And you have to put all of them out. I think there's one down here. Yeah. So normally, 3 areas in ACDC, 2 Scilab, 2 Yoka, 2 Beach. So that would be a lot of water chips. That would require 27 water chips, but thankfully They were somewhat nice and made some of the fires drop water chips. It makes no logical sense why you would find water chips inside of fires, but hey, I'm not complaining. Sorry, keys are on. Gotta go fast. Hopefully these water chips will be enough. I don't think I've ever had exactly 0 before. After I put out the chips in an area, I get a call from Mr. Match, which is really nice because it just like confirmation that you didn't miss a fire. Oh. N64 knows the good stuff. So this chapter is one of the reasons why people dislike Battle Network 3 speedrunning, because you have to backtrack pretty much every area, and it takes quite a while. But it's alright. The next chapter is way more fun.
Definitely the best part of the speedrun is the endgame.
Yeah, endgame is awesome. You don't want to miss that.
And this part's not so bad since you can sneak around everywhere.
Yeah, you don't get any encounters, because by now we've gotten way more than enough HP to activate sneak run. Come on, water? Any chips? Anything? What is this?
Are you missing a water chip?
I have not gotten a single one from encounters,
Oh.
including the 3 mandatory Pengy fights. They all drop Zenny.
Oh, right. What version has water issues?
Yeah. Because there's 3 mandatory fights during the Bubbleman scenario that have nothing but water viruses, and you have a 50% chance to get a chip.
Hmm.
So because of
something
that, I'm gonna do the save strat here again. So I'm gonna be low on Zenny. E. I like Gut Punch E. E and F, the Gut Punch code tells you how much Zenny you're gonna get in the next area. It can be anywhere from B to F. With B being the lowest, F being the highest. I think E has like, E can be either 2k or 3500 if I remember correctly. Water viruses? Anything? You know what? I'll take it.
Yeah, they changed how the GMDs work in most of the battle networks, and when they did 3 in particular, it's really interesting what they chose to go with.
No. 50% chance to get a water chip. And bubblers are very good water chips to get because they're cheaper to buy. The way the chip order works is that you can only rebuy chips that you've gotten. So if you, so because I've only had 1 bubbler, I can only buy 1 bubbler. But if I get a bubbler from an encounter and then use it up, that increases Higsby's stock of bubblers by 1, so I can then buy 2 bubblers from Higsby. And bubblers are cheaper than bubble sides by 1,000 zennies, so that would save me a lot of zenny.
Yep, 500 versus 1500. It's an interesting quirk in the chip order system that we didn't realize when we were first speedrunning, and then all of a sudden you go to buy bubblers and Higby's got more, and it was really confusing, and now we can take advantage of it.
You can also use that in different ways too. So like, you can chip order var swords from Higsby in B code, but you can put a var sword, say, if you don't have a var sword B and you want one, then you can put like a var sword D in the chip trader,
Yeah.
And
it's
then
cool,
that
so you
will,
can-
yeah, and then that will, you can then rebuy the var sort from Higsby and get it in B code.
Yeah, so it's a little pricey, but you can do code conversion.
So I need 7 water chips here. Rip all my Zenny. Still got quite a bit left though. Let me just make sure I have enough. Yeah, 9 water chips is what we want. Normally I wouldn't have to double check there, but it's very expensive if you don't have enough. So just
Prof
want to make
with
sure.
the knowledge drop.
Prof knows everything about the games. Unfortunately, in BNs 4 through 6, it's a lot harder to manipulate GMD, or a lot harder to do RNG manipulation in general.
Yeah, in fact, I'd say starting with 4, it's not RTA viable, and starting with 5, it's just not viable, period.
The reason is that the RNG is saved when the RNG is saved when you save, so you can't reset to get the RNG to a consistent state. It'll always be the same state, but it won't be a state that you've predetermined beforehand.
Yep, and they continue to run the RNG in more places. 4, it still is paused when you're editing your folder, so you can sort of do folder stacking similar to 4.5, but with 5 and 6, I'm pretty sure RNG is constantly advancing even in menus, so that is out too.
I don't think that. I don't think that matters though, right? Because because then you're folder stacking once you figured out the indices, and I see.
Yeah, because what works in 4.5 is whenever you pause or hit start, it goes directly into the menu. You don't have to like select something. So it's a consistent way to get into the menu using the same number of frames. So if you buffer run into an encounter, pausing once, you can see what chips you're going to draw, and then you can on the fly rearrange your folder.
I see.
Marco did that when he was doing 4.5 attempts.
So we have more than enough Zenny right now. This didn't end up as badly as I thought it would. So we got incredible drops from Yoka.
Nice. You also get a little bit of Zenny from the fires, but I think there's only like 3 that drop Zenny.
Yeah, they drop a random amount from 100 to 400. I think it consumes the GMD index.
Oh, interesting.
So I've noticed that like I would save the GMD, then I'd get a fire, and then the fire would give me a lot of Zenny, but then the GMD wouldn't give me what I expected.
Interesting.
Though saving and resetting to manipulate 300 Zennies instead of 100 is very much not worth it.
For sure.
The reason I'm not picking up the GMDs in these areas, first, the Zenny would actually be pretty nice, but if I get a chip, that chip will go to the top of my chip list, and that'll require me to put in more inputs to get to the water chips. So I don't think the chance, the chance of getting Zenny is worth it.
Yeah,
Zenny is less valuable at this point, outside of the GMDs in Yoka and Undernet. This purple mystery data is very important. One of the things we got from the number trader earlier is the fast gauge program, but it's too big for us to put in the Navi cust. But by getting that spin pink, we can rotate it so that we can put it in an orientation where it will actually fit. And that'll allow us to get fast gauge without getting the -2 chip downside.
Shouts to Mamoru for giving us the access code to the hospital so we could pick that up.
Kind of a shame that we don't get these Beach GMDs though. Beach has the best GMDs in terms of, well, I mean, not in terms of Zenny, but in terms of chips. being able to pick up a gut straight is really strong.
Mm-hmm.
We used to get that blue mystery data over there before we started regging Shockwave. 'Cause that blue mystery data is a reg up 3. We no longer need it though, because we get early reg ups instead.
Oh, right. Do you still reg Invis later?
For a couple fights.
Or-
Invis is
'Cause I know-
strong, but generally full cust is is stronger.
Oh, right. White version. Forgot.
Yeah.
In blue version, which is what I'm more familiar with, you just leave Invis on reg for the most part, because we don't have access to full cust. You need 30 bug frags to get it.
It's not worth grinding 30 bug frags.
Yeah. It's possible if you kind of hit all the bosses on the way, but then you still have to go out of your way to get it, so it's very debatable and inconsistent.
Makes sense. The nice thing about Invis is that it lets you get your VAR swords off without being interrupted. It just guarantees that. Invis activates invincibility frames for a long period of time, and there's very few attacks that can pierce it. Generally, it's like the only attacks that can pierce it are like some of the electric attacks, like Flashman and Sensor can pierce it. Undernet 2 has very good GMDs as well. It guarantees at least 2,000s. I think you can get up to 4,000s. If I recall. You have a pretty good chance of getting one each time you visit Undernet 2, because there's one that's on the way.
Yeah. Wait, what do we need Zenny for right now?
VAR swords,
Okay.
what else?
Around.
More VAR swords. I want a 4th. I'm not satisfied with 3. The other thing you can spend the Zenny on is getting more HP memories. Because if you get enough early HP memories, then that'll allow you to run from fights in the Undernet. Because you need 480 health to run from fights in Undernet 3 here. I only have 460, so I can't run. If I'd gotten more Zenny earlier though, I could have bought an additional HP memory and that would have let me run from that encounter.
Yeah, which, to be fair, he says can't run, but it would just take 2 attempts. So if you draw something like a bar sword and can finish the fight before the custom gauge fills, it's faster to do the fight. Otherwise, you should still attempt to run.
And even then, waiting for the cusp gauge isn't that bad because we have fast gauge active from the mod tools code.
Mm-hmm. And in some instances, you can take the opportunity to fish tank damage to make Muramasa more powerful, although that'll be later on.
Yeah, it takes too much time right now. Each of those cutscenes is nice because it resets the step counter, which resets how much time it takes to get the next encounter. Alright. I should do like this. So I want to knock out the flame at the top first. The green Flame Man's gimmick is that the flames give him abilities. The green ones give him invulnerability. The orange one spawns those enemies on my side of the field, and the red one gives him regen. We won't get to see the red one though, because he dies. The order that the flames spawn is also fixed, so the top one will always go green, then orange, the bottom one will go green, then green. That's why I focus down the top first. And then Base shows up. He's incredibly OP in this game though. That fight is impossible to win. The optimal strat is to take some damage on Flame Man or some of the earlier fights, so that it only takes 1 hit to kill you, so he does 200 damage per hit. But our Flame Man fight was too good. Elemental Slash hit Flame Man for 960 health, I think. Because the Aqua Slash does double damage, and the Heat Slash also did double damage because I used Grass Stage before attacking. So normally it would do 4 hits of 160, but 2 of those were doubled, so it did 6 hits of 160. And then Gut Straight just finished off the last 40 health he had. Yep. Bass is OP in this game too, not just Battle Chip Challenge. But yeah, it's impossible to get rid of his aura. Normally, when there's an aura, it has a number under it saying how much power you need to break it. But that one is infinite. You're not supposed to win that fight, and even if you do hack that fight to win it, the game will just proceed as if you lost with the following cutscene. Now let's do one more chip trader. Why not?
Secret strats.
Lance H. Not that great. It's two situation. It does a nice damage number, but the H code isn't very good. And it's too situational. It only hits enemies in the back row. Which isn't bad, to be fair. Enemies that the most annoying enemies are the ones that just stay in the back. So in this chapter, our goal is to get ranked in the Undernet so that we have access to the Gig Freeze program, which the rank 1 Navi knows about. Only the rank 1 Navi knows about. This chapter is pretty fun because a lot of the fights are against pretty tough viruses. And also this is when we finally get to put in Fast Gauge and become OP. We get a third Var Sword, we get full cust. It's gonna be great. If you thought the folder was good before, it's gonna get even better.
Full cust is one of the big draws for running the white version, and you'll see just how impactful that is soon.
What full cust does is it refills your cust gauge entirely. Oh, another Gut Straight. I think
So,
shit.
with custom style and full cust, you're drawing like 12 chips out of 30 in your folder, and with 3 Var Swords, odds are good that you're gonna start every single fight with a Var Sword, which will solve most of your problems.
I just realized I already have 4 Gut Straights in my folder. That's sad.
That's crazy. Well, at least now you can like have code preference.
Yes, got the one from the number trader, one from chip order, one from the earlier GMD, and one from hospital comp. Checking that dead ends because that's one of the possible locations for the green mystery data. Green mystery data is an Undernet to give you a lot of Zenny. So I try to get those.
I see. I guess you buy extra end traps at some point, don't you?
Yeah, I buy them in the Tora jobs.
I see.
Yeah, this game is really fun casually, like collecting all the chips.
And there are plenty of them.
Yeah, generally like this, a lot of the stuff that makes the game good casually is the post game.
Yeah.
This game has a pretty big post game, which you're not going to be able to see in the any % speedrun. If you're interested in it, I recommend checking out the 7-star runs.
Yeah, Monty, win 7-star.
So that Navicus program allows us to enter under square. First, we're going to check out the shop before we progress the plot. Var Sword and full cust. We've got 9,400 left. We need 10k for another Var Sword. So The statue starts the ranking scenario where we first have to beat 10 navies to get ranked. So first things first, let's improve the folder. Full cust far sword. I guess gut straight over this other gut straight. Set full cust as the reg chip. It's only 10 in this game, which is amazing. It's 24 that I want. And now it's time to become OP. That edit is so satisfying. And then we no longer need the fast gauge mod tools code. So we instead put in a code that gives us 1,000 health. I need to put in Muramasa. What don't we need? Because we don't need this panel out. So now that we have 1,480 max HP, Muramasa is quite powerful. The fight I'm most afraid of is the second one though, because it has a Shrimpy Omega, and I'm heat style, so that means I take double damage from it.
I've seen him end many runs.
Luckily I drew an Invis there, so that guarantees I can get the Varsword off. I haven't even needed to use full cust yet, because I've been drawing the Varsword.
Nice. It's more a contingency.
Yeah. It just increases my chances. I have 3 Varswords now and 1 full cust.
I just realized how much better that second fight is in the white version, because in blue version it's 2 moles, so you just have to wait forever.
Yeah, that's the other downside of blue version. You get to fight moles.
Sneaky purple dolphins.
Moles are one of the few enemies you can't hit with Varsword because they hide underground. You can only hit them with either some of the breaking chips that crack panels. Like Cannonball can hit them. The other way is when you attack, they will pop up behind you and try to attack you, and then you have to get all the way behind them and attack them. It takes quite a while. Alright, so let's heal and save again. The next 3 fights are easier. It's not going to be another 4 in a row, but they're all going to be against Omega viruses. If I draw Varsword, it will finish them very quickly. So these are going to be fights 5 through 7 of 10. So, no Varsword here. Try again. Oh well. Just one-shot that guy. So now you see the downside of... Can I do this? I can. The downside of the HP plus 1000 code is that whenever I step off of a panel, it becomes a poison panel, which drains my HP while I'm standing on it. This isn't a downside, actually.
Yeah, actually turning panels to poison can sometimes be a benefit because of cracked panels. Oh, and you're fighting Ready Omega? Oh gosh.
Ready Omega. He's really scary when he's below half, but you can finish him afterwards. I'm gonna reg and viz for these last 3 fights though, because they're much harder. I really don't want my Varsword to get interrupted. That went really well.
Pretty much this entire section, the ranking, especially the prelim fights, are really fun. Lots of tough viruses.
Right, this is the toughest one, I think, because there's a Dominant Omega blocking the bunny.
Yeah. The previous fight with the Metric can be pretty scary because he'll area lock you. This one can be scary because he'll crack all your panels, but since you turn him to poison, you're actually never area locked.
Let's pick up some Varswords. Ow, 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 ow. Stop that. Did I get the Dominard? I think I did. I'm gonna hope I did. Oh no, he's still around. He's still around.
Yeah, I think he sort of randomly switches between the two enemies, and he can never be in the front. Oh wow, that stun lock.
Yeah, the ideal way to win that fight is Muramasa. You take damage in the previous fights, and then you one-shot him with Muramasa, and that allows you to clear the way for a Var Sword. What you want to do this one is you want to invis so that you can you can get into the front row. And then you can Var Sword. Alright, let's get that on, and then get that there. The yo-yo viruses are annoying because the yo-yos block the Var Sword shots. You need a breaking attack to destroy a yo-yo. But because I'm in the front row and I have Invis active, there's nowhere in between me and the viruses for the yo-yos to block me. So that's why I have Invis set. And I just have to finish off the last one. Alright. So now we're rank 10. And now we need to chase down all of the ranked navis to increase our rank. Or rather, we're not ranked 10 yet. We are able to meet the ranked 10 navi. The Dominator also does have Yen 1, which cracks all of your panels. He will only use it if he's the last enemy left. So the Dominator changes his attack pattern at that point. There's no more viruses to defend. It's another reason why the poison panel bug is nice, because instead of like turning your panels into holes, the poison panel turns them into poison panels. So you can still step on them, they're just poison panels.
And with over 1,000 health, you don't care too much about a little drain.
In fact, the drain's a good thing. It gets more Amasa active faster.
Exactly. See, all these things are working together.
Yeah, the music for a lot of these fights is the N1 theme, which I think is the best, one of the best battle themes in the game.
Yeah,
Alpha's
it's really
is pretty good too. But this one's like, so exciting. You don't get to hear it for long when I draw Var Swords though. But don't worry, there will be a few more.
Yeah, it's like that rank 10 Navi. It gets awesome battle music, and then he's got these really pitiful viruses. It's even easier in the blue version.
Easier than this? Is that possible?
Rank 10 times. Well, because the one in the back I think is a Trumpy or something, and then you kill the wind guy before the Trumpy can activate. And it's These 4 fights with the fake mail from mail, you can folder stack all of them, and since the RNG is split in 2, your actions don't affect future draws. So if you like enter the area, do a hard reset, and run into the fight, you get perfect draws on all 4 fights. So Marco looked into a lot of that. You should check it out, Monty. It's pretty cool.
I will at some point. So the way these fights work, the first 3 fights actually have the same viruses, but the only virus I actually care about is the Shrimpy in the front. Because the Shrimpy's the only one that could attack fast enough to disrupt the Var Sword. In the first 2, the Shrimpy spawns in the middle column, and it'll always move before it attacks. But in the... Wait, there's a good chance I can just finish them off if I go quick enough. I got it off. Oh no, Ratty's mad, Ratty's mad. Ratty's mad. You get a Ratty below half health, it gets mad. It moves fast and it attacks fast. It's way harder to hit.
Yeah.
Var Sword gets around that because it hits all of the rows, but...
In BN2, Ratty's actually had 3 states, and when one was about to die, it entered panic mode, and that's when you started to panic.
That 4th fight, Elemental Slash can kill the 2 fishies in front, but I don't think I can get off Elemental Slash quickly enough before the Trumpy Omega in the back makes them invincible. So I settle for only taking one of them out, get the second one almost set, and then just finish him off after the Trumpy stops. Because the Trumpy Omega gets area locked, and once the Trumpy Omega gets area locked, instead of moving and then making the viruses invincible, the Trumpy just makes the viruses invincible instead for a really long time. You get a very small window to attack. That fight actually went really well. Yeah, we could have had cut straight PA, but it's not worth it. One more GMD and I'll be able to afford the Var Sword. So the rank 9 Navi's here. He just gives it to us. It's nice of him. Now for the rank 8 Navi in the Undernet. Neovar is like an upgraded version of Varsword, but they nerfed Varsword heavily in Battle Network 4. So I guess Neovari sort of gets some of that power back, but I think it's still weaker than the Varsword in this game. Varsword in this game is really good.
Yep, super good, which is why it changed.
Yeah, they got rid of Elemental Slash and they got rid of even Tri Slash in Battle Network 4.
Yeah,
you only get a single slash now of 160, which is still pretty good compared to what all the other chips you get do, but it doesn't do 640, potentially 800 damage to things with elemental weaknesses anymore. Oh,
Neovar can still do Tri-Slash, but it doesn't have the option to do Elemental Slash.
Tri-Slash gives bosses invulnerable. Oh, darn. So there's the last untrap. The GMD spawned in that dead end over there, which is the worst place it can spawn in, because it's farther away. But I want the Zenny. Definitely worth it. We get encounters in the Undernet because the Undernet has a much higher HP threshold to run away and to sneak run. Oh, we got a second one. 4,000, that's the most. That means I can afford an extra HP memory now. This is great. That means I'll be able to run away from encounters in Undernet 4. So the rank 8 Navi is exactly where we fought Plantman. The way you actually find these locations in the story is that each Navi is supposed to give you a hint for where to find the next Navi. The hints are incredibly vague though.
Red New 3.
Yeah, that one's like the least vague. This Red New 3 backwards is under 3.
Oh, it's 3 under.
Oh, 3 under?
It's really backwards.
Oh, you're right. Let him hit
Should
me.
have been 3 red.
Get these invincibility frames.
Beastman V2 is actually super annoying, but if you stand in the back and use Fire Sword, it's not so.
Oh, he attacks 4 times. He usually doesn't get that attack off. I thought it was only 3.
He's showing off for the fans.
No Varsword's here.
Oh, you had Muramasa. Oh, but the gut straight. Super.
Muramasa doesn't do enough.
You taken enough damage. He only had like 200 health left.
Ah, true. I like the gut straight more.
Well, for sure. It's definitely got style.
That's another one of those chips that has a code for it, but it only has the 1 attack. It is a very good attack though. 3 hits of 100 damage, stuns enemies without giving them invincibility frames, and it's breaking.
It's really good, and it's weirdly easier than Elemental Slash.
It is, even though it's one more. It is, even though it's one more input.
Yeah, That's kind of like a really mean situation to put you in, because after you beat Beastman, which might have given you some trouble, you then immediately get ambushed by the former rank 8, and he throws those viruses at you, so...
Beastman
with
is
no
actually
healing.
a pretty hard fight if you don't have Varsword. Because Varsword, Beastman just moves all over the place and he's really hard to predict where he is, but Varsword just hits everything on the screen, so... It can't miss. Unless he, like, jumps. I've missed Varswords before.
Yeah.
I've died to this fight before Beastman. Not in the speedrun, but casually. It was painful. Beastman is a hard fight. My first run of this game took almost 14 hours.
Yeah, it was cool seeing, like, you guys do your first rounds, like those blind races were a lot of fun.
They were. Now we've got it down to almost sub 3. Sub 3 is going to be sub 3 is really hard to get. Manip might get it there though.
I think a combination of Manip and possibly switching to the Japanese version to skip Copyman will set enough. Of course, I forget the Japanese version does have time costs like additional jack-in animations, but... So, we're close. I believe it can happen. Anything optional at this point is going to be skipped, so if you see him walk past a mystery data and not pick it up, it's because it's not going to speed up the run any.
Yeah. Generally, I think for the most part my folder is in its endgame state right now. It's going to be one more Varsword I'll buy and that's it. I don't need any more Zenny, I don't need any more chips. And anything I can get from Blue Mystery Data at this point is just not strong enough. Unlike Green Mystery Data, Blue Mystery Data always contains the same things. And I'm going to be skipping even Green Mystery Data now because I have all the resources I need. But because Blue Mystery Data always has the same thing, I know what's going to be in it, and I know that it's not going to be useful. So sorry chat, you'll never get to know what's in it.
Or you can just like ask nicely.
That too. Let's go to ACDC Square.
I like that rank 7 guy. He doesn't even want you to fight, he just gives you a quiz and he's like, yep, you got it, here you go, rank yours.
That's a nasty quiz though. One of many birds is, of course, the answer is the origami in the beach hospital.
Yeah, it makes more sense, I think, if you're familiar with Japanese culture, which I'm not, but you get around it by talking to literally everything.
So we've caught rank 3's attention. That'll allow us to jump in rank all the way from 7 to 3. Should have 1500, yep. 5k for the HP memory. That'll let us run away in the next area. And then the 10k for the Varsword. Normally, to get to ACDC Square, the fastest way is to jack in through Dex's homepage and then use the shortcut there. But unfortunately, Dex is in Netopia right now. So it's locked and we can't use it.
Yeah, you think either one, he'd leave as a key, or two, given land's disregard for like private property in general, he'd just go into the house anyway. Protagonist privilege, right? I go anywhere.
Yeah, classic RPG. I don't need that. I even have 4 gut straights. This is amazing. And good codes too.
White has full cuss, that's the main thing. There's a few other version differences, but there's good and bad things about both white and blue. So it's really just user preference on which one you run.
Yeah, there's slight differences. The story is the same, but you have different fights and your folder has a few variations because the shops are different.
Yeah, blue version's got Bubbleman, so it's better.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's the one different boss. Bullman I think is generally easier than Mistman.
Yeah.
Though, if you're not prepared, Boldman is much more difficult because he blocks your attack.
I suppose. I feel like Missman does a better job of blocking your attacks since he just sort of like sits in front of the lamp.
Yeah. Bowman is pretty predictable though. This man is harder to predict. It's a lot more.
Why?
The timing's pretty precise.
Yeah.
I'm still not that confident. But we'll have 4 of our swords, it'll be okay. So that HP memory got me to 1500 health here, which is exactly how much I need to run in 1 turn. I could get the another HP memory instead of a Var Sword in order to allow me to run from Undernet 5 as well. But I think the Var Sword is a better buy. Because it'll make some of the fights more consistent.
Consistent. I like that word.
Alright, we don't need a Recov 10. Recov 10's an awful chip to draw.
You still have Recov 10 called?
It's Recov 10 star, it's fine.
Yeah.
You put in all of the filler star chips, because it lets you dig to your Var Swords.
Oh, you took Bolt out? I guess it's a useless star code.
It was right at the top and I don't need it. Oh, I have this. Should I do it? No, I won't.
Probably. I don't know what it is, but yes. Oh, is it a PA?
I had the Guts trait.
Oh, so you do.
Yeah, I'll just finish him off with the normal combo. Oh, I had the Var Sword. I could have used that. Oh well.
Dang, you killed him so quick. He didn't even get to do the thing.
Yeah, when he's low health, he's got the Z punch attack, which makes him invincible, and then he fires off a ton of. Oh, what? We're not gonna get this. We're not doing Gutsman anymore. It's the last one.
I just want people to experience it.
It is pretty strong. I've almost died to it. Because it does not. It's like. It's quick, and it doesn't give you invincibility frames if you get hit.
Yeah, it lasts really too long, as does.
Yeah. Sorry, chat. PA's slower. Although the PA giving me invincibility frames would have been nice. I wouldn't have had to dodge. Alright, so here's Missman. I'm saving because I'm a little scared of this fight. If I screw up too many Var Swords. Man, what are these chips? I should not have added the invis. It's fine. Let's get some damage. They can power up my Muramasa.
Yeah, like, you actually have a lot of options for damage, and if you're just learning the game, you can, like, opt out of Burning Master Style, so you'll always have access to that, and you can pick up H-Burst, so between that and Muramasa,
yeah, when you're starting out, I don't recommend Burning Master Style, because if if you run out of chips on a fight, you always have that 900 damage as a backup, and so you'll be able to clear any fight just a little bit slowly.
Yeah, an example that I would point to is Bubbleman V2 later on. That fight alone is worth having Master Style if you're new to running.
Yeah, that was the scariest fight. That fight was the reason I didn't want to cut Master Style for such a long time. Because you have difficulty Var sorting him. There's a setup I have though that should make it easier. But it's a bit difficult. So we've reached rank 2, now we can get to the rank 1 Navi. Good times, Keezer.
Yeah, the only thing that was preventing us from entering here earlier were a couple carefully stacked cups that we didn't want to knock over, but someone moved those, so we're good now.
Yeah, that server there is the heart of the Undernet.
And you don't get to see it because we skipped the cutscene, but at the end the administrator walks in and it's Mamoru.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah,
and then
but
after that, Drillman steals Alpha, and now we gotta go chase him down.
Yeah.
That's why the crisis music.
He literally tore a hole through the internet, which I can assume is a representation of creating a shortcut.
We don't need GMZs anymore. We can't run from encounters in this area. You need 1540 health, and we're only going to be at 1520.
Yeah, but that's fine. And it's really not even that, because you got to subtract 1,000 for what his actual HP is, because run rates ignore any sort of Navicus bonus.
Yeah, the Navicus gives me the 1,000, so it's really only 540 I need, but the 1,000's not going to help me.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a blue mystery data right here under the ramp that gives you an HP memory,
Convenient.
but it's not enough. I got a Var Sword. No Var Sword, so I'm just going to try to run and take the fast run. I want to take as much damage as possible to set up Muramasa as a backup for the next fight.
That's a good excuse for, like, why you can't dodge.
I actually do
What's
need to
that
take
game?
damage. 'Cause
Yeah.
The backup for the next fight is Muramasa.
Yes. Hope you get the quick kill though, it's cool. Good luck.
Let's see. But we've got good chances. We've got good chances. Coming up, Drillman. Drillman has a gimmick where he's always attacking. He never sits still where you can hit him. So that's why he has so little health. But what we can do is we can stun him. And then Elemental Slash. GG.
Sick. Yep. And so if anyone remembers Drillman giving you trouble, that's how easy he is.
That's another reason why white version is nice. In blue version, you should probably, my recommended strat is to reg the air shot, and then hope you draw the Var Sword. So air shot Var Sword just wins the fight. But in white, since you have full cust and it's already your reg chip, you don't really need the air shot because full cust increases your chances of digging to it.
My recommendation is just folder stat and get the perfect draw.
I didn't read the email.
Oh yeah, this part's silly. It's like they send you an email saying, hey, go pick up an item. And if you go to the area and read the email, he's not there, so you have to read the email before you enter the area. And it's like, why didn't you just attach it to the email? This is the future, people.
Also, we can't actually send emails, we can only receive them.
Well, in BN1 you send an email, so it's possible that Lan can, but instead of putting forth the effort of composing an email himself, he just tells Mega Man to go do whatever it is, and he's done.
Mind blown. Lan can actually send emails.
You get to Side Lab and Child's like, oh good, the protagonist is here, we can start, and then immediately something bad happens. Thanks, Lan.
Thanks, Lan. And you get to hear more of the best music in the game.
Oh,
8 bars of Crisis.
Can you watch Lan dance in front of the tank getting shot at?
Oh, damn, I just realized I skipped the drill man. Alright, let's watch. Normally we skip this cutscene.
Yeah, there's a lot of neat little
Let's watch.
cutscenes in the Battle Network series that are pretty short. This makes a good GIF if anyone, wants to do that. Because if you just leave it on the text, he keeps getting shot at.
Sits there, gets shot. Let's go in front of the tank so then I can run up behind it later.
Yeah, it's a good strategy. He gets in front of it and it's like, this thing's gonna shoot me. I should probably have a plan.
If I had an attack plus 10, I could have gone for the step cross. It's slightly faster than the Varsword. That's what the TAS uses.
Step cross is so good. The problem with those guys and why I didn't use step cross is because the alpha bugs, similar to the twinner, well, no, they're not similar to twinners. They have massive health regen, essentially.
Yeah, they regen and they have an attack that stuns you, drains your health, and doesn't give you invincibility frames. So it's a bit scary, but they don't. It doesn't do nearly enough damage. The level 1 version.
Indeed, he did 10 bound. There's an ongoing counter of times Lance should have died in the Battle Network series.
The N2's coming up, isn't it? Quite a few in there.
Good old internet radiation.
So, Dad has tracked Alpha's base. It's on an island, so now we need to find a way to get there. And once we do, we can start the final comp.
Who do we know that's rich? Oh yeah. Don't you hate it when you're...
There's so many things in these games that just like fall into our lap that like if this didn't happen we would be screwed.
Yeah.
Like what if there wasn't a boat here? What would we do?
I mean, you figure you just go to the government and be like, hey, we're gonna go stop Wiley, who's going to destroy, you know, everything. Can we have a boat? And they're like, yeah, probably. That's a good idea. Here, we'll send you instead of us doing it.
But the government's like the government's like only competent person is Chad, and he's just as old as I am.
Yeah, you know, adults in this universe just don't do anything.
Unfortunately, that text is not skippable. This is it.
Yeah, don't you hate it when your friends come and say, hey, can I have a boat engine overnighted tomorrow? It's always so inconvenient.
Alright, this is it. This is the end game. This is my favorite part of the run. It's really fun, and the music is also awesome. Can't have a Mega Man game without the boss rush.
Yeah, this part is like the best part of the run. The Undernet ranking was pretty good, had a lot of good fights in it. This one, you got like the fast-paced comps, especially once we get to 3 and 4, you get the boss rush. And some of the bosses, most of them have gotten an increase in health, so they're a little bit stronger and you need more to take them down. Alright, I forgot about the email that Dad sent you. I had alpha in it.
Yeah, it gives me a program that lets me see the alpha bugs in these comps. If you step into one, it'll take you back to the start. But we don't need it. We're speedrunners.
Yeah, they're in fixed positions so you can memorize it. Right. Also, that chair looked really comfortable until Caustic started getting electrocuted. I don't think I want to sit in it anymore.
Alright, and then alpha comps, here we go. This first one is pretty precise. If you get caught by one of the hovering claw things, it sends you back to the start. It's a pretty precise window here. If I can make it, I save a little bit of time. Can I make it? Got it. Lets me get under this cycle. I don't have to wait. Alright, Flashman's gotten stronger. Watch out. What are these?
You'll see the operators and the navies stand next to them before the fight starts. That's because everyone's using this new fancy technology, pulse transmission, to actually sort of put them into the comp so they can go full synchro with their navies.
The ID data is what lets us get through the door.
Yeah, so you gotta go pick that up just for the backtrack.
Literally cannot die to Flashman.
Oh, I like that cutscene. Dex shows up and just hurls a rock at the machine. It's like, I can solve this problem. The start of Comp 2, you can actually go backwards through the
Through that first one.
set of claws. But it's gotta be frame perfect. Because the task does it, but it's so inconsistent.
I've tried. It's really difficult.
Yeah. Oh, and here, this one's actually got 2 fights, and the first one's Bubbleman, which is pretty tough, so good luck.
This fight is difficult. It requires a pretty precise setup. What I do is I use Invis, wait for the bubbles to all spawn on my side. That allows the bubbles to get behind me, and so they don't block the Var Sword. And then I have to wait for Bubbleman to get in one of the bottom 2 rows. And then I could one-shot him with Elemental Slash. But if Bubbleman attacks from behind the rock, I can't. The Var Sword will not do enough damage. So that part is pretty precise. Oh, so close. Gotta go forward a bit more in that last one.
Yeah, that ending is pretty tight to get through it.
Yeah.
I think Monty's the only one that actually tries to go for the early cycle there. Everyone else just waits.
Yeah, if you wait though, it takes a while. I should have saved.
Yeah.
I usually save there because I need to open the menu anyway to reg full cust again. I no longer need Invis. Alright. I'll get it eventually. You know what? We'll be patient.
Yeah, could we get like these claws and
We'll
those
be
claw
patient.
crane games?
Sorry about that. So the Desert Man strat is you want 2 Var Swords. And you want to open with 2 Var Swords because you really want the second slash to hit him, and you want to be able to fire the second Var Sword while he's still locked from the first. After that, he's got 80 health left, and you can finish him off. As Desert Man will run underground as soon as he gets hit by anything, except the water elemental attack. So I take advantage of the fact that the second slash of elemental slash is water. Lock him in place for the first one. He stays stuck a little bit longer after the second Var Sword. So that gives me time to hit him with the second one for the full amount.
Yeah, it worked out really nicely.
Oh my god. Got stuck a little there. The lag threw me off.
It's pretty tough. Starting with the third comp, you can go through these a lot faster.
Yeah. It's a little trick you can do to get underneath.
Corner clip. You had to do it twice, too. Nice.
Made up for it, getting caught there. So,
Remember, found that by accident.
Oh, what
I don't
the
know if it was already known or not. I was running straight up trying to get caught on the way back from the ID, and then you just clip right past one and you're like, oh, this is something we can do. Oh, and you got caught at the end. Don't pull Achilles, man.
It's alright, it's alright. I was just too far down in that last part. Usually if you hold up at the end, it just clears it. So this time we gotta fight Plantman and Desert Man. One right
Plantman.
after the other. And what we gotta just take these. This will finish him off. The Varsword does 800 to him, because the Fire Slash does double. Flame Man,
Poor Plantman. Poor any boss with an elemental weakness. Nice gut straights.
yeah, go for the top candle first, because the bottom one, if you go for it first, it'll respawn as green, which keeps him invincible. And finish him up before the second candle comes back.
I like how you did gut straight to knock the candles out, as opposed to just like shooting them 10 times with your buster.
The charge shot's faster than shooting him 10 times, but
Oh yeah, you did a decent charge. It locks you in place though. Either works.
yeah.
Nice. Huh. Now the fourth comp. This one's pretty cool too.
It was a little scary, because usually you get an encounter before you get to the second claw.
When
This
you
one's
get
really
an
fast-paced.
encounter, like all of the claws are on a global timer, and whenever you get an encounter, Mega Man stands still for a few frames, and that actually affects the position of the claws. So depending on when you get the encounter, it slightly changes how you approach the claws.
Let's save here. This is my Drill Man save. Also I'm probably gonna get caught by these claws, but I hope not save.
It's a good idea.
Alright, air shot, bar sword. Don't need the full cust.
Correct.
Alright,
Surprised you didn't take it just for safety though.
so that's the last of the boss rush. Now
Oh,
for the
man.
final boss.
Heat
This is
style
it.
too. Wood style Rex Alpha, so this means we get to use a lot more chips, so I'm looking forward to this fight. Good luck.
Oh, I got an invis. That just makes this consistent. You didn't think this game would only have one final boss, right? Alpha, here we go. He's got a barrier that regens, which is the most annoying thing about this fight. Oh dear. Take damage from Muramasa. So that's going to be our finisher. Juan is also really good. And that is Battle Network 3. Time coming up.
Oh, right. I don't know if G's gonna do that. I guess I'll log on. We'll see what happens.
Alright. Time as soon as this cutscene happens. And time. And that is the end of Battle Network 3. $3.15. Not bad.
3:15:44.
Not bad. Not bad. I'm very happy with that. That is way better than all of my practice runs. run went really well. I am
Yeah.
very satisfied.
Monty
with
made
this.
Alpha look pretty easy, but the fight can be rather difficult, and he's got a lot more attacks, especially once he gets below half health. And you notice again that even though Alpha cracked the panels because of the poison panel bug, we didn't even have to worry about that, and then just being able to nail all those elemental slashes, it was a really good fight.
When Alpha gets below half health, he gains 2 new attacks, one of which fires a massive missile. The other, the scariest one, fires a bunch of electric lasers. Fires at 16 times, and then when he's using these special attacks, he completely regenerates his barrier, which takes 2 hits to destroy, and he becomes invincible during that time.
Yeah, and if you're only... Wood is really good because the charge shot will easily take down both barriers, and Aqua with 5 charges is just quick enough that it can take down the barrier just with the charge shot. But if you're Heat or Elec, and you don't have a chip to like help tear down the armor, you literally can't beat Alpha at that point.
Yeah, his barrier has 5 HP, and it regenerates health very quickly, each one of the barriers. So in theory, you could put like 4 attack plus 10s in, and a single buster shot would do it, but it's just not worth the time to set that up, because our Navica setup favors the charge shot more.
I never knew how much health each part of the barrier took, just like it was more than 1. It wasn't very much, but you had to deal really quick.
Gut Style's also really good at dealing with that. I know a lot of people got Gut Style casually. The easiest way to get Gut Style is to fire the Buster while the Cuss gauge is full. That gives you that very increases your chance of getting Gut Style by a lot.
So anyone that wants to sort of put the odds in your favor, it's a point-based system based on total number of fights, so you can't like spend 1 fight and fire your Buster forever and hope to swing the odds. You need to do it over a number of fights, and the element is not in your control. So those are the 2 things to keep in mind when trying to get the style you want. Also, in BN3 you can keep 2 styles, and the element of the next style will never be the same as your current element. I think, something like that.
Mountebank sucks.
So
Yeah,
keys are
I agree.
Sorry for finishing so quick. Totally not actually sorry, by
That's
the way.
okay. You see, what we're gonna do now is after the credits are over, which these are really nice credits, is since you finished 15 minutes early, we gotta do 15 minutes of humor jokes.
Let me finish my
15 minutes
sandwich.
of humor. Oh god. I'll do 2. I'll do 2.
I think we need more than 2. This is a special occasion.
Special?
Plus Keys-Around's hungry, so I think that
Alright.
justifies it.
We'll do more. We'll do a lot more.
Yeah, so brace yourself, chat. You're about to experience Battle Network 3 humor. If you're around for BN5, you might have caught like a glimpse of Battle Network humor, but it has nothing on BN3.
.308 in game. Very good, very good. So a Battle Network 3 run is not complete until humor. Here we go. Rip 1000 health, but it's gonna be worth it. What did the man selling blind deer tell his customers? I have no idea. Oh, you've heard that one.
Oh dear.
Is it bad I have these memorized? I feel like me and Monty could have a conversation with it.
Yeah, there's 10 of you. Alright. I gotta do 15 minutes of this? Let's see what else we got. I heard that Yai's house was burglarized. That's
Oh.
terrible. Didn't they lock the door? Yeah. But somebody got in through their window.
Oh.
This is just ruining my appetite.
Well, good. Then by the time we're finished, you'll be ready to go.
Next. I read that flowers were preserved in King Tut's tomb. Really? What kind? Chrysanthemum mummies. Ha 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 ha. Yes. More. More. Oh, I went to that new undersea gym the other day. Oh yeah? How was it? I think I pulled a muscle.
Oh gosh, this one.
Not on purpose, I hope.
Okay, I'll start soon. Jesus.
I thought that when you heard that one, you'd just clam up. No, but if we keep this up, our players might get crabby. You're right. God, we just squid while we're ahead.
Oh gosh.
That's a good
Hey.
one to end it on. That's a
Yeah.
good one.